Dysfunctional disorder. To prevent others from dominating conversations, you must understand the tactics. Mansplaining. Let's see this word. It's a new word for me.
Mansplaining.
Mansplaining voice non-cognition. Neurocognition. Let's see this word.
Non-recognition.
And interruption are domination tactics in conversations. Dysfunctional communication patterns can be modeled as social games. There are important culture and gender differences in communication patterns. Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt. Miss Switzer, see also Proverbs. Georgian Habermas, the aged scion of the Frankfurt School and critical theory, puts the spotlight of his social analysis on communication and its disconnectedness in the theory of communicative action. Habermas, 1984-1981. He develops a vision of a model of communication that is free. What is this word? Let's see. I think it's a German word. I mean, maybe
Herrschaftsfrei.
has such free, whatever. Free of unnecessary domination. The qualifier unnecessary is the great hedge, for without it, any vision of a social world entirely free of domination is a utopia, a dream, an illusion. Lofty theory and volumes published with Circum's Verlag and Frankfurt are degrees of separation removed from the gritty world of everyday communication, where attempts at domination abound. Whatever this name is, people misunderstand, misconstruct. Let's see this word. Let's see this. Okay, my lovely cat.
Misconstrue.
Misconstrued.
Misconstrue.
Misconstrued. Misconstrued. Where am I? I forget. Where am I? It's something about, fail to listen, interrupt, and indulge in repetition, redundancy, and obfuscation. Obfuscation. Let's see this word.
Obfuscation.
Grace, 1988, made an earlier and valiant effort to set us straight on fair and equitable. Let's see this word and the other word too.
Valiant.
And this word.
Equitable.
Equitable communication. Grace, 1975. His prose, though clearer than Habermas, I suppose, had an equally limited effect on what mortals do when opening their mouths. Wisdom often reduces to resignation. If humans cannot be educated to speak properly and fairly, it may be best to counsel silence. The sages of the East and West who consoled thus had to open their mouths and accept the irony. Logical science is called upon to be pragmatic, to try to understand how things are and to seek opportunity for improvement. Hence, some of our communicative dysfunctions have been studied this word.
Empirically.
Empirically. A recent article by et al. 2023 is a fine example. Team Bricks tackles the threesome annoyances of maintaining voice non-recognition and interruption, and they do so with a gendered lens, as arguably, let's see this word, arguably, I think it's arguably, women are on the receiving end more often than men are. That said, these dysfunctions can spoil anyone's mood. Mansplaining occurs when a person, often a man, re-explains a matter of interest to a person, often a woman, who has already sufficiently explained it and who has, by objective standards, greater expertise in the matter than the man does. Mansplaining is a blunt attempt to force a stronger intellect into submission. It is difficult not to be infuriated by it. Voice non-recognition occurs when a speaker's contribution to a conversation is ignored. Others move on as if the contribution had never been made. This is a crass case of social exclusion and thus invalidation. Interruption is the most commonplace communicative dysfunction, and it is, in all likelihood, multi-determined people interrupt not only in attempt to assert dominance, but also because of impatience, limited attention span, or poor manners, or because their particular subculture does not frown upon interruption per se. Author and professor of linguistics Deborah Tannen, for example, has argued that the conversational culture of Jewish Manhattanists is marked by cooperative overlapping, which sounds too uninitiated. Let's see this word.
Uninitiated,
like chaotic and mutual interrupting. Among the initiati, however, no one feels slighted. Everyone is having a good time. See also, whatever. In culture where interruptions are frowned upon, they can be modeled as games of chicken or jigos de galinha, report whatever this is. The interrupter scores points at the expense of the listener, who is the chicken. If both abstain from interruption, they do well, and certainly better than if both keep interrupting each other. Interrupters defect from good etiquette by not waiting their turn. Others try to dominate by waiting too long. This tactic is particularly risky and annoying when the power seeker and the target are interdependent, and even more so when the power seeker asks the target for a favor or some other form of cooperation. Suppose a letter that is due at the end of the month. To do the job, A needs B's updated resume, and B knows this. Is there any excuse for B to let A wait? Reasonable people doubt there is and yet this happens. Why? Is B still hoping to make last-minute improvements? Is B ambivalent or anxious about the outcome of the application? Is B a habitual procrastinator? A, and perhaps B too, has a hard time pointing the effect cause to game the what is this word? Let's see it.
Theorists.
B's tradeness is a power move and act of defection. The move is rational only if B is more about moving one up with regard to A than about the material outcome at stake. Is it a stake? Let's see.
Stake.
Yeah. Why I'm doing this? Some cultures have solved the problem of corruption by laying down norms for who and for how long a speaker might hold the floor without having to worry about being interrupted. When these norms are accepted and endorsed by the collective, they no longer need to be enforced. This is a throwaway statement. It goes to the very definition of what a norm is. Some Native American groups in the Pacific Northwest use talking sticks. As long as a speaker holds the stick, the listeners have to do just that. Listen. Shirara, 2000, to protect the group from abuse. May set a limit on the time a speaker may hold, although the stick is a symbol and not an instrument of physical norm enforcement, as in hitting. It can be a tool of great force. Talking stick used with good effect in school education. Hartina, 2020. Cooperating. Let's see this word. How to pronounce it? Corporate boards and factually?
Faculty.
It's faculty. Faculty meetings have yet to discover their power. I think I finished. Yep, I finished. I was struggling to read this article. I don't know why.